All right, everyone, we're just getting started with our 18th anniversary celebrations week 4 and excited to bring people into the room. So welcome back, everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's officially week 4 and I'm excited to have a number of you. We've got more people in the waiting room as well. So I'm going to stop my share in just a minute, let everyone wave to each other, but it is week 4 and this is all about coaching business building. So I'm excited to spend 30 minutes here with you this afternoon, or maybe this evening, or even the morning, whether you're here live or whether you are here on demand. I hope you're going to have fun and maybe take some notes. So we are actually going to do an exercise in about 10 minutes to get you thinking about where your coaching business building is at right now. Because these calls are all about getting you some traction, getting you some celebration, and of course, getting a little bit of content. So to warm us up, as we have maybe, let's see, we have people still coming into the room. So people all around the world, it looks like we've got Check Ming coming in for her. It's about midnight her time. So I'm excited. I think Check Ming is going to win the award for latest in the day, although I know for some of you it's pretty early, getting early in the morning. And want to give you an opportunity to sort of just get your thinking caps on, because again, in true potential realized fashion, it's not just about coming and sitting passively. Any potentials realized program, it's all about getting active. So I've got some icons on the slide. No surprise, aligned with the brand of Coaching Business Builder, which is all about putting the puzzle pieces together. Because in building our businesses, it's hopefully a reflection of us. It's hopefully a reflection of what our clients want and need and value. And of course, hopefully it's offering something of value. So I'd love for you to take a look at these different icons here. Think about the half an hour that we have here today. And I'd love for you to select the image that represents what business building means for you right now. So I'm going to get you to go to the top of your screen where it says annotate. And as you grab your annotation bar, which you may find under your viewing Jennifer Britton screen, go to the right, you'll see a view options. And then under view options, you'll see annotate. As you get to annotate, you're going to want to open that annotation window, or what looks like a bar. And about 4 or 5 in from the left, you're going to see stars, or you'll see arrows, as we've already seen. But I'd like for you to stamp out, what does business building mean for you right now? We've got quite a good crowd here. We've got 17 people here today. So this is our largest crowd of our first of the 4 calls. I'm intrigued because already we're starting to see a little bit of gravitation to the puzzle pieces with that light bulb. No right answer here again, but business development and business building is something that doesn't just happen in our first year of business. It's something that we're always engaged with, right? Even for me, 18 years, there's still ongoing learning, ongoing experimentation, things that work and a lot of things that don't work the way we think it will. And I think it's really important to sort of be explicit with that, because often a lot of people make business look like, very graceful. There can be a lot of lack of grace and a lot of learning, because learning is challenging. Learning is difficult. It's not always an easy piece of cake. So I'd love to invite a couple voices onto the screen, and to do that today, because I'm sort of solo flying today, I don't get a co-facilitator, but I'd love for you to put up your hand. What is the image you chose? I want to get maybe 2 or 3 voices. If you'd like to raise your digital hand, that's going to help me see everyone in the room, because I can't see all of you on one screen, but I'd love to just hear a voice around what is your icon and what does it represent. So Cheryl, you've put your hand up. Over to you. Which one did you choose? And give us a row number and like where it is on that row.
Right. So it's the 3rd row from the top, and then it's the 3rd icon in, I guess from my point of view, from the left. So it's the one with the 2 hands cupping the puzzle piece. And the reason that resonated with me was I think that business building is about you and the client. So I wanted something that suggested that it's something that you're co-creating. particularly in this space where we're into quite often into something new and different. And we do have to create the product that will best fit the client's environment and their context.
And the moment in time, right? Certainly, if you think, and if some of you were with me, in 2020 during the pandemic, as we really had a lot of fun with the Standout Virtually brand, that was a very specific brand to the moment, all about, how do we stand out in the virtual space? And while it's important today, it was super, super important 2 years ago. So I'm going to bring in Chris Mitchell's voice next. Hi to you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Which one did you select today? Oh, I will get you to unmute. I think you were unmuted.
Sorry. Okay, there we go.
All right, over to you. Which one?
I chose the image or the icon that's in the second row, and it's the furthest to the right with the puzzle pieces and the light bulb. And for me, that really stood out at the beginning of this year, I looked at kind of my goals that I was setting and what I wanted to shape those goals. So sort of pillars for my business, which are create, contribute, and connect. I work with the creative community, and so it's really important to be creating not only clients, but also content and contributing to that community of artists and connecting with that community at large. And that's what I see as the keys to building my business.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing that, Chris. And a lot of C's, no surprise, right, Chris? Chris and C's.
Like alliteration.
We've been loving the C's too, right? With our 7 C's and remote enablers. And next we've got Matilda. Hey, Matilda, good to see you. What have you chosen, Matilda, as your icon of this question?
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. I chose the second row, first one, because to me that represents that I feel like at this point I'm clear on what the different puzzle pieces are, but the key for me in this moment is to start reaching out and reconnecting with people in my network, with past clients, asking for referrals and really, kind of expanding out in terms of what I've been doing that's been working.
Fantastic. And again, I imagine just looking at who's on the call today, we've got about 18 of you now, a lot of different stages of business, right? And so we can go through cycles where sometimes it's about expansion, but sometimes it's also about that reconnection and really going back to the people that we've already served, because business shows us that, those people who have bought from us already almost have a 12 times more likelihood to purchase from us again. That's a pretty strong statistic. So with that, welcome again. We're here to not only celebrate and connect, but really give you some ideas, I hope really which are applicable right away, because we're here, we're coaches, we're building businesses, and it's really critical. This has been a big stance since I opened the door 18 years ago. I want to help people build sustainable livelihoods. That's what I did throughout a lot of the 90s and early 2000s in fields ranging from ecotourism to small scale micro enterprise, as we called it in those days. And that was really the baseline of what eventually became Coaching Business Builder, which is a workbook planner. And today's prize is going to be a digital copy of this workbook planner. So it's a desk size, right? It was built as an analog resource. One half of it is actually a workbook for you to think about who you are, where you're going, what your clients want, what about marketing. And then the last half is actually a planner. So you can see that I use this. And some of you may have been with me on our month end and our quarterly planning sessions that still continue. So I hope that you're going to fall in love with this. If you've never seen Coaching Business Builder, head on over to coachingbusinessbuilder.com. Next week, we're going to be back together at this time. This is actually the 4th of 7 calls that we're doing in this Thursday 12 noon block, which seems to be a good time for everyone. Next week, we're changing gears again and getting into action, talking a little bit about the practicum programs that we've been running, where coaches get a chance to roll up their sleeves and get practice and feedback, which is really an invaluable part of our coaching skill development. But for today, I want to take us into just a minute into an exercise around coaching business development. Last week, we did a drawing for our week, I guess it was our week 2 announcement. And I would say that not Cheryl, but Stacy was our winner. Today, we're going to hope that tech works again. I'm going to stop my share. I've queued up the wheel of names that we've been using because more than 8 or I think about 10 of you actually put in your name for the hat for this week's prize. So anyone who put their name in, and what you need to do every week is send me the word of the day, which will be announced towards the end of the call. If you email that to me at reconnectingworkspaces@gmail.com, reconnectingworkspaces@gmail.com, with the weekly word of the day, which is typically announced at the end, then you get drawn. You get put in the draw. So this week's draw, drum roll, please. We're going to do it live right now because I'm sure you're just waiting for it. And the person gets a digital copy of Coaching Business Builder, apropos. We'll do the draw next week, but this is for last week's draw. I'm going to spin and we will see who the winner is. So drum roll, please. Last week, they're going to get a digital copy, and the winner is, it looks like Kristen. Congratulations, Kristen. Is Kristen with us on the call? If you are, Kristen, congratulations. And really excited. I'll reach out to you by email to get you a copy of the digital slide. So I'm going to stop our share. Here's who's on the call today. Just say a quick hello. Might see some of your colleagues, some of your friends. Hello. Great to see some faces, and people have really been here regularly. So back to our exercise. I see Ivana and Kathy here. Awesome. Members of our team. There's Ivana, who's our team lead. I like to call her the floater. You'll meet her in group coaching and lots of other places. Of course, Kathy Vaughn, who you met a few weeks ago. Say hi, Kathy. Kathy's with us tonight. All right. Rita, our third colleague, is on her way to Cuba as we speak. So she will be back in a few weeks, hopefully very tanned. So want to really level set with coaching business development, and really what I framed out in Coaching Business Builder a few years ago, really like to encourage us to think about this notion in business development, that it's not just about doing things once. In fact, we get traction when we're undertaking what I like to say, daily steps and consistent action to create that momentum. And it is with that momentum that we really create what, we heard years ago from writers like Jim Collins talking about what he terms the flywheel. And the flywheel in business, according to Jim Collins, is, if any of you have been on an ergometer, a rowing machine, you'd know that there's actually a force that gets generated as we pull on a rowing machine. And it's a force that creates its own momentum where you can stop rowing, but that force is going to continue. So I really like that. I was a rower in high school. I actually placed in the top 6 of Canada in my final year of high school. That's a little known fact about Jen Britton. And, I still, on weekends, actually, when I'm up north at the gym up north, I work out on a rowing machine. So I really like to think about this momentum factor, because as soon as I finish, it's like there's water in the flywheel of this machine, and it's spinning for a few more minutes after I step away. And so it's sort of neat to think in business development, can things that we're doing continue and have an impact, as I've seen in my business, years after what we've done? So a good example would be effective group coaching, right? I still to date get calls from coaches who say, I really love your book. And I ask, which book? Because I've now published 7 books. And I say, oh, effective group coaching, of course. And of course, that was published end of 2009, almost early 2010. And it's still having that momentum effect in the world. So here's a question for you, right? I really want you to be thinking about, where are you right now with your business? Are you being productive, or are you being busy? And in the 90-day guide for success, which came out in Q4 of last year, it's a 90-day guide to support people on onboarding and reboarding in the workspace. It's also a great resource for entrepreneurs. But I asked this question, where are you? What are you doing right now? Are you working in the business or on the business? And I love the writing of Henry David Thoreau, who said, it's not enough to be busy, so are the ants. The question is, what are we busy about? And I think this is a wonderful question to sort of sit with as an entrepreneur, because from the time we step, not even into the office, by the time we roll out of bed, we might have like 50 ideas in our head of things that we need to do, want to do, have to do. That, of course, are 3 layers, but we do want to think about what is going to make an impact each and every day. Some of that we don't know until we get into action. So like last week, we want to sort of bring your voice in. Like, where do you find you're working right now? Are you working in the business, delivering coaching, building out programs that have already been purchased? Or are you working on the business, working on things like the website, the social media, getting your taxes in? I'd love for you to put yourself on this continuum of maybe the last week or two. Where have you been spending your time? Have you been working in the business, getting actual programming done, delivered, customers served? Or are you working on the business in terms of making plans for the future, getting financials done? They're both really important, but I think it's key that we notice, where are we? So I'd like for you to grab your annotation again. Let us know where you are. Are you working on the business or in the business right now? Again, no one right answer here, but I think it's a interesting question to be asking on a regular basis in terms of where we are. And no surprise, and I've asked this many, many times before, people are all over, right? Some are really in the business, some are on the business. Coaching businesses are quite cyclical, and there is often a different rhythm, whether we are an individual coach, a group coach, or a team coach. In a lot of my work, and some of you here are team coaches, right? Like, we're going to be busy until end of June, maybe end of May, depending on where you are in the world. But teams typically go on holidays. They go on hiatus in the summer. Now, as a group coach, that's where I find some of my group coaching programs are busiest in the year. So there is a bit of a toggle effect. I can track, what happens with one-on-one coaching across the year. I can track what happens with team coaching, which is like this as we get into the first 6 months, and then it drops. And then about the third week of July, all of a sudden my phone starts going crazy, and people are like, "Hey, we'd like to bring you in for September. Can you plan something for us in September?" And so as soon as September comes around, again, it's super, super busy. But that's a different rhythm than perhaps what your rhythm is. And so as part of today's call, one of the take forwards that I hope you're going to be thinking about is, what is happening in your business? Are you tracking it? And the tool that I'm going to share for today is one of my favorites from Coaching Business Builder and Plan, Do, Track, which of course are our planners and the trackers. So you'll get a digital copy of that if you would like. I'll tell you where to go and where you can grab that digital copy just in a minute. I'm going to clear our board and want to ask you this. Here's another question. Where are you in different areas? So I've got a quick exercise. It's going to take us about 3 or 4 minutes, actually maybe 5 or 6 minutes. Just pull this together specifically for this call, and I'm terming it putting the puzzle pieces together. Because what we know is that business success, particularly for coaches, it's a multi-layered thing. It's not only about knowing and being a great coach. It's really about knowing what our client needs are. It's about having appropriate vehicles to get our message out. It is about having a clear message, having those offerings, and knowing what's happening in the business. So what I'd like to invite you to do is grab a pen. We're going to do an individual reflection exercise. And this is going to it will take us about 6 minutes, because there are 6 different windows we're going to jump into right now. And I'd like you to think about your business as it stands right in this moment, whenever you're watching this video, whether it is end of April 2022, or maybe you're picking this up in 2027. Who knows, right? People are still watching my videos from 2010. So what I'd like you to think about is your world right now, your business world right now. And we're going to start with, of course, our clients. And for the next minute, I'd like you to think about, what are your client needs right now in this moment? Take 60 seconds to take stock of everything you know about what your client needs are right now. What are they asking for? What are they loving? What are they repelling from? Because marketing is part, recoil as much as part loving. We get a lot of info if we hear what our clients are not wanting at the moment. I'm going to set my timer for just under 60 seconds. And we will get started. So we'll do this in silence. Question again is, what are your client needs right now in this moment? Enjoy. Okay, our next question is going to start right away, and that is, what outreach vehicles are you using? What ways are you connecting with your clients? Is it referrals? Is it social media? List out in this next minute what your outreach vehicles are. All right, we're going to move to puzzle piece 3, which is offerings. I'd like you to take note for yourself. What are you currently offering? What are the prices? What is being offered? And maybe also what's in the pipeline offerings. All right, our 4th puzzle piece asks us to think about what's working and what's not working in your business. The second question might be challenging, but just notice not everything is perfect in a business. That's part of that learning edge. So note for yourself, you don't have to share this with anyone else, but what's working and what's not working. All right, our next question, the 5th one, is what are you measuring? Just like I say in plan, do, track, and Coaching Business Builder, it's important to measure. Many authors have written, like what doesn't get measured doesn't get done, of course. So what are we measuring on a regular basis? And final question is, who are the people around you? That might be your clients, but who else is here to support you? Who else do you collaborate with? Who else do you network with? I'd like you to think for a minute about the people around you in your business. All right, so we're going to pause there. And if this were one of the lab programs, this is a typical type of exercise that we do at the Coaching Biz Growth Lab, which is actually an annual program I run every other Friday. We meet twice a month on Fridays at lunchtime, so from 11:40 until 12:20. And we really dive into our businesses. We look at, everything from messaging and getting our messages clearer to our marketing vehicles. We look at our offerings, and we also look at ourselves as business owners. So part of what we won't have time to do that we do in most of our Potentials Realized Lab programs is have the dialogue, right? So I want you to make a commitment for yourself to either revisit this later today, or if you are part of coaching groups, bring it to your coaching group and really think about, what's going to move the needle next on your work. We'll be doing a deeper dive. So there are some lab members who are going to be doing a deeper dive on this, labbies. And I think it's an important area to sort of start synthesizing some of our areas. I promised today that I'm going to share with you a tool. And as we step into a new month in a couple of days, I want to invite all of you later today to head on over. We've set up a page over at groupcoachingessentials.ca. And you'll find it right at the bottom of the listing called the 18th anniversary. Later today, it's not up there yet, but I will post the link to a downloadable copy of the monthly daily tracker. And this is a great resource where over the course of a month, you can be tracking any or all of those things you had under the metrics category. As business owners, we want to track revenue. We want to track how much time are we working, maybe how many conversations you're having with prospective clients, how much time you're spending coaching, whether that's individual, group, or team. And hopefully you also are including areas that are helping you be balanced and healthy. So on my monthly daily trackers, I always have a column for swimming, and it's usually quite well filled in. I still get to the pool in all my busyness at least 4 times a week. And then I usually have one for walking. I have to say in the middle of the winter, the walking doesn't get as clear, but on days like this where it's pretty nice but a bit cool, I'll get outside for a walk as well. So business development, it's a muscle, right? Just like coaching, we've got to be doing it on a regular basis, because as soon as we take the foot off the gas for many of these metrics, we start to see it. We may not see it right away, but you will see the ripple effect as you go. So again, I hope you'll take time, make note for yourself later today. So probably in the next 3 to 4 hours, I'll have a copy of this. There'll be a button there on the 18th anniversary page over at groupcoachingessentials.ca. You can download the monthly daily tracker. And again, we have a new month starting. So grab 5 minutes a day to just pencil or shade it in if you want. Last week, we made an announcement about some of the changes that are happening with ICF. And part of coaching business development is making sure you're abreast of all of the changes that are on the go. Some of you know that at the end of July, there is now sort of a deadline for people to get their materials into ICF under the old system. As of August 1st, it will move into the whole new competency base, the new PCC markers, etc. So with that in mind, we have a mentor coaching group starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for people who really want to get that mentor coaching hours complete under the old system. You have to get all of your paperwork in before the end of July, and this mentor coaching group will run until July 22nd. So if anyone is looking at renewing, needs to renew this summer, if anyone is working on their ACC or PCC, this mentor coaching group is for you. And just like you can find the downloadable form, you can go over to groupcoachingessentials.ca to actually sign up for that. So groupcoachingessentials.ca. And there's still, I think we've got 2 spaces left if anyone wants to jump in with me tomorrow morning at Fridays. I've talked a little bit about the 18th anniversary page. We've got some specials that are on until May 20th. And so just want to highlight those because some of them are a real goodie. So we're going to be running at least 1, possibly 2 Reconnecting Workspaces certified coach training in the month of June. One will be a 5-week offering on an evening session, and one will be a 4-day offering very intensively. If people are looking for hybrid tools, hybrid resources, because you're getting a lot of requests, that program is for you. So Reconnecting Workspaces certified coach. We talked a little bit about it on week 3, and we'll talk more about it in our 6th week of this series. I've also done a rollback on the Group Coaching Essentials Practicum Bundle to 2021 pricing. So you're only going to find these special prices at that 18th anniversary special link. And the fastest way to navigate is go to groupcoachingessentials.ca, not .com. Go right to the bottom. I should have a highlighter here, but if you imagine on this bottom left, the last link says 18th anniversary specials, and that's where you're going to find all special pricing. And we'll probably keep adding a couple of options. The final one I want to talk about is coaching the hybrid work styles that we touched on last week. We've got a new cohort starting May 17th, and that also will have 18% off. So I hope that you are enjoying these. I want to spend our last minute together to actually bring us out. Last week, we talked about hybrid work transitions, which really is such a key issue right now. I got 2 more requests myself. I had coaches phoning me up saying, Jen, what do you have that can support me in helping my clients around this? And that's why we now have 2 Reconnecting Workspaces coach trainings for the month of June. So if you missed last week's call, definitely head on over to YouTube, find my name, Jennifer J. Britton, and hopefully you will enjoy these. So the word of the day for today's call, this is week 4. So send it again to reconnectingworkspaces@gmail.com. And the word of the day is building, because we all want to be building our businesses. We did our contest, so I hope that you will put in for next week's contest. Again, it will be a digital copy of the Coaching Business Builder. And I hope you'll come back next week for our practicum call. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the practicum, but also talk about getting into action with skill building as a coach. So I want to stop my share and would love to just have 1 or 2 comments around what's your biggest takeaway from today. I've kept you on the line for the whole call. So would anyone be bold enough to say what their biggest aha was or take forward? And thank you, Ivana, for noting the word today is building. What was your big takeaway from today's call? All right, Cheryl, over to you. Cheryl's always
I like the way you used the puzzle pieces throughout this whole half hour. I just thought that brought real unity and focus. It was like a metaphor. So I appreciated both the literal metaphor and also the figurative one.
And truly, in Coaching Business Builder, it is about putting the puzzle pieces together. In business development, it's rarely a straight road. It's like a puzzle, right? We sometimes think we've got a piece, but really it's not there. But the benefit is you've explored it. You started going down that path. So just like we talked about tracking, make sure that you're tracking your projects in business development throughout the year. I think a lot of times we're hard on ourselves and say, oh, what a waste of time. But you know what? That work, that pathway will lead you to further clarity in a different area. So thanks, Cheryl. And appreciate you noticed the heavy use of metaphor and puzzles. Latifu, let's go to you next. What did you enjoy out of today?
Mine is essentially the same thing. What doesn't get measured doesn't get done. As I see myself not measuring, and I'm just kind of like going this way, instead of going straight forward.
And again, with measurement, even 5 or 10 minutes a day, this is where that monthly daily tracker that I'm going to share can be so valuable to just put numbers down, put even how you're feeling emotionally as a business owner, because a lot of this is also mindset. It's not just about doing the work, but it's also about our mindset. And that's a big piece that we explore in the Coaching Business Lab every couple of weeks, which is why it's an annual program. Because we can go hard for a couple of weeks, but over the course of a year, we can have a lot of ups and downs as we go. So we got Peter here again as well. Hey, Peter, I'm glad you joined us. You've got your hand up. What was your take forward from today?
My take for today is daily steps plus consistent actions equal to momentum. So good presentation right there.
Excellent. Well, you'll hear me say it all the time. Daily steps plus consistent action equals momentum. We got to do both. And I also want to read out what Christine has shared with us in chat. Agree with Cheryl and appreciate the simplicity of the question, working in or on. So much opportunity to ground, identify, balance, plan, and track. So with that, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. I hope you got some inspiration and maybe a little bit of clarity. And again, I will be in touch. I don't see Kristen here, but I will let Kristen know the good news as winner of week 3. We hope to see you next Thursday as we come back together again for week 5. So keep on entering, even if you are not a winner. Really important that you keep entering into the, Reconnecting Workspaces at gmail.com. Just send it to me, because we'll then enter you in for the grand prize draw. And the grand prize draw is a course. It could be the Reconnecting Workspaces certified coach course. So do sign in every week, and we'll see you soon. All right, everyone, take care. Thanks for joining us. Be well. Bye-bye.